Hey there, Vikings faithful. You are listening to the Purple People podcast. We got one busy show for you guys. I'm sure you know all the events that happened this week. We're going to be talking about them. I am Kyle West, accompanied by Adam Carlson.
Hey,
What's up, Adam? And we got Kyle Smith, and his Taco Bell is with us tonight.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
and we are going to not mess around too much this week because we have a lot to cover. So let's
This is
jump right
probably
in.
the
Episode
busiest
116.
show.
Played Against Sam. I don't need to tell you where that's from if you've ever watched a movie in your life. So let's just move on.
Mm-hmm.
We got a plug here. It says go subscribe to us on YouTube. We'd like it if you'd do that. We hit
Yeah.
1,000 subscribers over there. We can go on YouTube Live. So please do that.
We sure can. Hit that subscribe button, folks.
But we have roster cuts first. We're going to be talking about some of the guys that got cut. Guys like Willie Beavers, Mort Boringer. I always get criticized for my pronunciation of his name, and I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay.
Carter Bykowski, Kyle Carter, Sami Faciane, Isaac Fruchty, Jake Ganis?
Sure, he was a guy that was on the team at one point. He's not now.
Ham, Toby Johnson, Zach Moore, Denzel Perrine, Jarrell Presley, Travis Rossetti, Blake Renaud, Trey Robertson, Brad Sorensen, Joel Stave, Brandon Watts, Stephen Weatherly, Kenrick Ellis.
Yes, and then we also had placed on injured reserve Michael Griffin and Jabari Price, and then placed on the reserve / non-football injury list was quarterback Taylor Heineke.
You missed a name from that injured reserve list.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, Adam.
But overall, in the roster cuts, there weren't a ton of surprises. I might be one of those guys that's a bit more up on Kenrick Ellis than others.
Mm-hmm.
I was moderately surprised to see Brandon Watts on there. I thought the team liked him. I thought he did okay when he was plugged in last year. I was also a bit surprised to see Joel Stave get cut because I thought the team would keep 3 quarterbacks until Heineke came back. But a little bit of a surprise there.
I'm not surprised because Joel Stave is awful. Speaking of awful, Willie Beavers got cut.
Oh, he's bad.
Oh, he made it back to the practice squad. I don't have that mentioned in the notes, but you guys can go over to the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Purple People Podcast, and we have the practice squad up on there. I know Willie Beavers made it. I know Bowinger made it.
Toby Johnson and CJ Ham.
Yep. So there's some good guys on the practice squad.
We got a decent practice squad, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of potential.
They're probably better than the Browns. I mean, maybe not Willie Beaver, but
Packers got one of our better running backs, though.
Oh, yes, they did.
And they're actually going to use them. They've already said they're going to use Jarrell Presley as a third down back.
I'm excited to see him get an opportunity. You know, it's with Green Bay, so that kind of sucks, but we knew that one of our backs that got cut was going to be picked up. That happens every year. Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, it's a good fit there. I went on Twitter after the move was made. I congratulated the Packers. I said, that's a good pickup. He'll do a good job for you guys. I hate to see division rivals get stronger, but it is what it is, and I do wish the guys some success.
At least he's not in Detroit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, Detroit. I don't even know what's going on there.
Nobody does. Not even Detroit knows what's going on there.
All right, so we got the 53-man roster here as well. And we got
you want me to read? Here, I'll read offense, you read defense. Adam, how's that sound? We'll split it up. And and again, for people just tuning into the live stream here, if we sound like we're going quick, it's because we are going quick through these quick hits because we got a really big main topic to talk about here. But Vikings quarterbacks, we finally kept 2 of them. Who would have thought it would have been Sam Bradford and Sean Hill like a month ago? Not me. 4 running backs, Matt Asiata, Zach Line, Jerick McKinnon, and Adrian Peterson. We got 6 wide receivers in Stephon Diggs, Charles Johnson, Cordero Patterson, Adam Thielen, and Laquan Treadwell, and Jarius Wright. No surprise there. We keep 4 tight ends, Red Ellison, David Morgan, who we called that was going to make the team, Michael Pruitt, and Kyle Rudolph. For the offensive lineman group, we got 9 of them, including Joel Berger, Alex Boone, T.J. Clemmings, Nick Easton, who I'm a big fan of, Brandon Fusco, who Adam is a big fan of, Matt Khalil, who nobody is a fan of, Zach Karen, Jeremiah how do you pronounce it?
Jeremiah Searles, something like that. Something like that. Sorry, man.
Yeah, yep. And Andre Smith, our
no John Sullivan there. That is so weird to say.
There are a couple things to note there on the offense. The weirdest thing on the whole list is the Vikings keeping Berger, Easton, and Kieran all on the roster. All three, I consider them to be guards, even though Kieran is listed as I consider them to be centers, even though Kieran is listed as a guard. But maybe Kieran can be that guy who can continue bouncing in and out, kind of like Berger does. Hopefully, he can one day play at the same level, but it's interesting. 4 tight ends and a fullback. That, to me, right there is an emphasis on how much this team wants to win on the ground. Keeping Red Ellison, Pruitt, and Morgan. As I've said for a long time, expect David Morgan to keep stealing reps as the season goes on. This guy is one heck of a blocker. He could very well next year unseat the fullback and just be a fullback slash tight end and be that sneaky receiving option out of the backfield. I'm very, very high on this guy. I wasn't sure if Rhett Ellison was going to make the cut with all the injury concerns about him, or if he was going to end up on some sort of IR for the season. But I'm glad to see he is there. Those are really the only things that surprised me about the offense. A lot of people were moderately shocked to see that all 6 wide receivers made the path, but let's be honest, that's 5 wide receivers and a kick returner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not surprised. I kind of thought that we would keep 6 all along, just because they're, Cordero is a good kick returner, and so they like him in that role. And on the off chance that they can develop him, like, hey, this is his last year to get it figured out, so he'll either do it or he won't do it. And that's just.
I have 2. The first one is, you guys remember a month ago when I predicted we'd trade for Sam Bradford? Me neither. Secondly, shout out to Joe Berger for ultimately unseating John Sullivan. And I know the injury had a lot to do with it and age, but Adam was really high on him. He's always loved our offensive line, and he always gives a shout out to the guys who do the dirty work and don't get any credit. But this guy played his ass off last year. Let's just be honest about it. And he didn't get a lot of recognition, and now there's no bigger a statement now. And I love the fact that he's still here, and hopefully he has a season just like or even better last year. So shout out to Joe Berger.
I could not believe that Joe Berger sat there in free agency for a while with all the teams needing help at center. And he ended up coming back to the Vikings on an almost no money deal.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
We'll take that.
Just crazy. Let's shift over to the defensive side. On the defensive line, we've got Sharif Floyd, Everson Griffin, Daniil Hunter, Brian Robinson, Justin Trudeau listed as the defensive ends. I listed Floyd in the defensive ends, but he's a defensive tackle. So let's go do that over again with defensive tackle. Sharif Floyd, Tom Johnson, Linval Joseph, and Shamar Stephen. As far as the linebackers go, we've got Anthony Barr, Cantrell Brothers, Audie Cole, Chad Greenway, Eric Kendricks, Emmanuel Lamore, and Edmund Robinson. Edmund Robinson's that sneaky guy. He seems to come out of nowhere, and maybe it was just that they liked him more than Watts this year. That was probably a tough decision to make up in the GM's office. Defensive backs, quite a few of them. Mackenzie Alexander, Anthony Harris, J-Ron Kearse,
J-Ron.
Oh, yeah. Terrence Newman, Xavier Rhodes, Anderson Dejo, Marcus Sherrills, Harrison Smith, and Trey Waynes. On special teams, we got the 3 core players. We got Blair Walsh, Jeff Locke, and Kevin McDermott.
And we should have listed Cordero Patterson under special teams.
Him
and Sherrill should be down there.
Oh, that's so true.
Defensive backs, the only real surprise there is Michael Griffin. A lot of people expected him to come in under Zimmer and have this resurgent season like Terrence Newman did. And just was not in the cards this year.
I stand by Adam
for it.
faithfully. He called this before he even got on the plane to fly to Minnesota. It's like, this guy sucks. He's not going to make the team.
I'm like, it would take a miracle here, but if anyone's going to do it, Zimmer's going to do it.
And no miracle.
I'm so high on this defense. You don't even know. Like, I'm so stoked for this. We brought everyone back. But
now, the first depth chart did come out, and listed alongside Harrison Smith at starting safety is Anderson Dejo once again. Now, keep in mind, this initial depth chart is written pencil, just like how Sean Hill's written it in pencil over Sam Bradford. Eventually, Bradford will get the start, and he will be the number one, just as I'm kind of assuming that eventually Jaron Kearse will leapfrog Anderson Dejo. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't even know if it'll be this season, but I do believe it's going to happen.
I was just going to say that. I'm high on Trey Waynes this season. He's played really good this preseason, but holy crap, we got a skinny defensive end playing safety, and it's awesome. He is huge, and I'm so stoked that he made the team. That is awesome.
Yeah, like I was telling the other guys, he looks like one of those Legion of Boom Seattle Seahawks safeties that people just are intimidated to throw the ball next to because they have this huge area where they can block or deflect a pass, and they're physical enough where they can just smash the ball out of somebody. He is that player, and this preseason, he showed that he also has some instincts as far as where the ball is, and he's got the soft enough hands to capitalize on it. So so far, Jaron Kearse, who I thought was going to be a massive project that might even take 2 seasons on the practice squad, he's coming out on fire.
Imagine if he hits his stride the end of this year going into the next, him and Harrison Smith, that'd be a safety tandem you don't want to mess with.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you hear us talking about the preseason past tense. That is because the Week 4 preseason game against the Rams in Minnesota did happen. We're not going to talk a lot about that. I understand that this was really important to a lot of the guys that were fighting to make the roster, but we already talked about the guys that didn't make the cut. The Vikings did win that game against the Rams. It was an exciting game that kind of went down to the last drive or two. But in the end, we just feel like there's so much more to talk about when it comes to the quarterback situation.
We really do, and I'm talking to some people in the chat room right now. You guys know where we're going with the show. It's our A topic. It's the A topic for every Minnesota Viking fan. Teddy Bridgewater goes down with a non-contact injury. It was a dislocated kneecap, and he tore an ACL. There may be other injuries involved with it too.
Yep.
I believe Rick Spielman said that it was a less than a 1% chance that this kind of injury would happen on a non-contact drill. So next time Green Bay fans go to give you shit, tell them that, like, hey, what happened to us is less than 1% of, like, it ever happening. This is what we deal with.
It goes to Eric Sugarman and the training staff, Twin City Orthopedics on site there. Immediately after this happened, he had attention there, and they took care of business in a way that kept this injury from being much worse than it could have been.
I heard that he could have lost a leg.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone felt this. It was exactly a week ago today. You just get that sick to your stomach feeling. We got the news, and I don't like being right on some things like this, but as soon as they said practice was canceled, he was rushed out on an ambulance to the hospital, you just knew that the season was probably done for him. But I just want to tell you, I'll keep you guys updated as it goes along. I'm really big on the social media side of the Vikings. I had them on Snapchat. I put it on the page. If you didn't see or if you haven't heard, number one, Teddy's scheduled for surgery on Thursday, 2 days from where we're recording right now. And secondly, he was already back at practice, which we have a cool story. I'll tie into that real quick too. But the Vikings Snapchat account, I don't know who does it for them, but sometimes they'll give it to the players. And Teddy's just chilling outside, and Sharif Floyd walks out, and he goes, "Man, I'm scared of that guy." And it made you feel warm-hearted to see that he's in good spirits. He put out a really touching, really powerful statement talking about he will not be denied. He comes from a long line of great DNA in his family, mentioning his mother who defeated breast cancer. And he's going to hit this and attack this injury strong. And he's got guys on the team that know about this. Adrian Peterson went through this. Obviously, he had a tremendous season after. Chad Greenway tore an ACL as well. And he's got all these people he can look to get tips for rehab and just to stay mentally tough. But I'll shut up real quick after this. Mike Zimmer said it yesterday, and I saw it Vikings.com if you guys want to check it out. But usually it's Xavier Rhodes comes out to help him tie his shoe. Obviously, you don't want him moving his legs at all in this situation. And Mike Zimmer said, you know what, I'll be that guy now. And it makes you feel really good about this team, this coaching staff, all these players, and it gives you that warm and fuzzy. So despite what happened, we can't change it. We just have to move on, which I'll let you guys talk about what we did to fix the Teddy Bridgewater situation at quarterback. It's really cool to see all the support and all of his effort and determination to still be with the team, to not give up, and to give you hope for going forward.
By now, everybody listening knows that all three of us are big Teddy supporters. We really love him. We love the attitude he brings to the game. We love his ability to pick up third downs, his intelligence in the pocket, just the way he conducts himself is amazing. And when this injury happened, it hit all three of us pretty hard. We were looking forward to this season because this was the season when the team went out. They got more pieces for the offensive line. They went out. They got more wide receivers talent. They cut ties with a guy that absolutely had no chemistry with Teddy Bridgewater and played a little bit more to his strengths. Well, now all this game planning goes out the window, and they're sitting there, and they're looking at, okay, we've got Sean Hill, we've got Joel Stave, and we've got Taylor Heineke, who's on temporary IR, set to return, and we have no clue what to do. The team kept saying, we're confident in Sean Hill, we're confident in Sean Hill. And Sean Hill is a guy, he can step in, maybe win a game or two or three in some spots. But overall, when you look at the situation that most teams were in at that point, most other franchises had already established their rosters. They had their guys that they were running forward with. And most teams didn't have that kind of talent where they had a secondary guy who's a starting caliber quarterback. Left the team in a very sad situation. And if you ever want to read a really cool, interesting story, I touched on a little bit over at the Viking Age, but Monday Morning Quarterback did a fantastic column over on Sports Illustrated, talking with the two GMs about how a trade went down between the Eagles and the Vikings to get a quarterback.
Excellent read.
Mm-hmm. I believe they had to do what they had to do. We gave up a first and a fourth round pick to bring in Sam Bradford. Initially, when you read that kind of hits you. It hit you as a bit of a gut check. Like, whoa, that is a lot to give up for a player. And I love the first round draft picks. I'm usually not for trading them away to bring anyone in. But you really look at the situation that the Vikings were in, and you look at what else was available for other quarterbacks. You're looking at a past his prime, Michael Vick, and then some other kind of like scraps that are out there, players that would potentially be cut. You're not looking at anything that's going to come in. And we're a team that Adrian Peterson is still a very effective running back, but he's only going to have a couple more years left that we have with him. And we're a young team, so I don't want to say that the window of opportunity is closing, but we're a young team. We're built to win. I believe we can win right now with Adrian Peterson and some of the other veterans that we have on the team. So it's a good, bold move that energizes the team. Kyle Rudolph talked about this in one of his press conferences, is that the team was feeling really down, after Teddy got hurt, rightfully so. And the fact that the ownership would go out and give up a first-round pick to bring in Sam Bradford, a former number one overall pick, it proves that they believe that this team can win right now, and it got the team excited, and I like it. I'm okay with it.
I got to make a couple amendments to your statement there. The Vikings are no longer one of the younger teams in the NFL. In fact, they are the second oldest team in the NFL now.
Well, there you go.
Behind only the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. And the picks that the Vikings traded to get Sam Bradford were a first rounder and a conditional fourth rounder that can turn into a second rounder. So I want to add that in there. I did write an article, and I received a little bit of flack in it in the comments about how Rick Spielman looked at this trade, and he saw giving up a first rounder. And let's be honest, Rick Spielman loves first rounders. In the past, he has traded back up to the first round to get that fifth-year option on a player. That's where the real value of a first-round draft pick lays, is in that first-year option, being able to hold them down for longer at a smaller salary. That's the real value of a first-rounder. Rick Spielman loves that. But instead of trading away what a lot of people are saying is just an important piece of the future puzzle for the Vikings, Rick Spielman sees it as investing in the current roster that he's already built. He sees the guys already there, and he sees guys that are hungry, ready to win. He looked at what happened last year, and the team was within I don't know, that far of winning a playoff game. And as much as I hate giving up a first-round draft pick, because I love so many of the Vikings' first-round draft picks in recent history, as much as I would love to sit there and on day one of the draft and wait for the Vikings to make their selection, I have come to terms with the fact that a first-round draft pick, and hopefully it'll be a late-round draft pick, if it ends up being like a top-5 pick, this is going to look real bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if this does end up a situation where it's a late 20s pick, the Vikings make the playoffs, they challenge for the division, this could be a very, very smart move, because not only do they have Sam Bradford for this year, but they have him for next year. And there is some concern that Bridgewater's injury can be a 14, 15, 16-month rehab. Mm-hmm. I've even heard some people say up to 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if that does spill over, yes, Bradford has $7 million this year on his contract. Next year is $17 million. But if Bradford can prove himself, a first-round pick, a fourth-round pick, and $24 million for a starting quarterback that, if he can stay healthy, last year he led the Philadelphia Eagles in receptions and pass percentage. Like, he set franchise records.
Mm-hmm. We got some good questions about Sam Bradford in the chat, so I'm going to lump a couple of them together.
Sounds
and
fantastic.
Then we can kind of like talk about our new quarterback, Sam Bradford. People want to know if we think that with him on the team, will we be more predictable in the run, or will Norv be able to like open up the passing game a little bit more?
I want to say one thing about that, because to me,
mm-hmm.
the most underestimated part of Sam Bradford's game is his play-action fake. If you have watched this play-action fake, it is a thing of beauty. And then when you add in that he has one thing that Teddy Bridgewater doesn't really have. He has that cannon to push the ball down the field.
Yes, he does.
The Vikings have these speedsters that can open up the playbook. So this is going to put defenses in a really odd spot, because they're going to be watching this play-action close. Mm-hmm. And Bradford has become a master of this. So if Bradford can keep these linebackers and safeties on their toes, it could open up some pretty good stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
The other point that people are asking is this the best team that Sam Bradford has been surrounded by? And
yes.
Yeah, hands down, yes. He was on some awful St. Louis teams when they drafted him, and then I'll say it.
Running for his life in Philadelphia. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. It's crazy.
He goes to that stupid Chip Kelly system where they got flashcards on the sideline, and they're not playing to his strength. They're trying to run a system that doesn't work in the NFL, and that did nobody any favors at all. So yeah, this is by far the best team that he has had, the best group of coaches. He's got an amazing defense. He's got a top 10 rushing attack. Future Hall of Famer in Adrian Peterson. Yeah, this is a great situation for him to be in. He should be.
I'm gonna weigh in real quick when you're done, Kyle. I didn't get to jump in and give my feelings on this. So these two guys here will tell you I was pissed when I woke up and heard this Saturday. I said, a first for Sam Bradford? Are you kidding me? And then as the smoke's cleared and the dust settled, this is playoffs or bust. This is Rick Spielman saying, look, we have a hole in the boat. We can either patch it up and sit here, or we can patch it up, we can get the motor started again, and we can attempt to get back now. That's what he did. You've got to look at this from the team standpoint and everything else. This is not – we won 11 games last year with a kid who threw 14 touchdowns, and I love Teddy. He's not asked to throw the ball 50 times a game for 12 games. He's just not. He doesn't have to. Bradford's been asked to do that before. He can if he needs to. I think it's dumb. I don't think any team should throw the ball that much. But, hey, he's going to come in. He's going to hand it to 28. He can throw the ball down the field. We have an improved offensive line. Now, you can grade it variously on how much it's been improved, but it's an improvement from last year. All he's got to do is be Teddy Bridgewater, and I'll be honest with you. He can be Teddy, and I think he can be better. I'm not saying that we traded up and we got Drew Brees. I'm not saying that we got that kind of deal at all. But Rick Spielman did what he had to do with the best available talent that he could. Yes, we could have signed an Aaron Murray who got released by the Chiefs. We could have went out and tried to get an older Michael Vick. Mark Sanchez was out there. These are people that are at the bottom of the barrel, and I hate to say that because, Sanchez has played in AFC Championship games. Vic lit the league up multiple times, but this is in the past. This is a guy who's young. He's got a cannon, and I think he's kind of misunderstood. You can give one side where, you need to make your team better. You are a first overall pick. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2010, and I just wanted to throw that out there. You can hold that against him, but you got to say he's never really had the pieces around him, like you said, Kyle, that he has here. Rick Spielman did what he had to do, and this is a gamble move. If this sinks and it goes bad and we only win 6 games, this is going to be one of the worst trades that he's ever done, worst deals he's ever done. If we make it back to the playoffs, I call this a success 100%. I think that we can make it, and I'll say that later for a bold statement or whatever, but this is playoffs or bust. And if you look at it, I forget where I saw it today. With Sean Hill, Vegas gave us the odds to win 8.0 games. Teddy Bridgewater gave us 9.4. Did you guys see where Sam Bradford would land us?
No.
9.2. This is Teddy Bridgewater, equal replacement, maybe a little bit more higher ceiling depending on if he can stay healthy, which is, it's all right. You have that concern, and I understand it completely. He's had injuries before. But I don't know. I'm pumped about it now that everything's settled. We understand the facts. And I'm almost done. Adam helped me figure this one out. So we could, if we stockpile a lot of trades, I don't see us going back in the first round. We have a second. We have 2 third rounds and 2 fourths. We got Miami's third and fourth rounds next year. We have 8 draft picks. You guys don't freak out. Yes, the first round is the biggest deal. We have draft currency for next year. And number 2, I just want to make a solid point here. I put it on the podcast page earlier. There are notable quarterbacks out there with less resume than Sam Bradford, and there's guys like Colin Kaepernick who are making $15 million as the backup. We got him on the cheap this year. So look at the positives now. I can't tell you what's going to happen next year. Hopefully Teddy's back and he's good to go. But for this season right now, I think it lined up as good as you can do with what you're given.
We got some good points being brought up in the chat here that I want to get to really quick. One of them is that Rick Spielman had stated that other teams were looking for a first rounder and potentially a young core player from the team. So if you guys want to give up Anthony Barr, no, I don't want to give up someone like an Anthony Barr.
He said Everson Griffin, Harrison Smith, Anthony Barr were all referenced in trades.
Yeah, of course they were.
Including a top pick.
Yeah, you had other teams really trying to stick it to us. So he did fine on just giving away some draft picks. Also, that Sam Bradford had terrible coaches with Jeff Fisher and Chip Kelly.
I can't argue with that.
I agree with that statement.
I like Chip Kelly more than I like Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher's an ass.
Jeff Fisher's a douchebag.
I think a lot of fans fell into the whole disposition that Sam Bradford's a walking injury. It's gotten to be a joke around the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really look at it, last year Sam Bradford had one hell of a season. And the only reason why it really didn't get noticed is because he was on a very crappy team.
And really quick, no, Johnny, I don't think that Jarius Wright is going to be traded. And I don't agree with anyone who also calls him trash. I think he is actually a highly underrated part of this team.
See, the Jets got him 2 years ago.
Where would the Vikings need more help to trade Jarius Wright, though?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to get a top-tier safety to start for him. And as far as depth at other positions, if you're going to go grab a backup quarterback or something like that, I don't get it.
I like Jay Wright. Like I said, he's underrated. I think on the trade market, you probably get, a fourth-rounder out of him? Highest,
I think
probably.
you get a third. For the right team.
Third or a fourth.
Desperate. Yeah.
Adam, you brought up a good point. I'd like to mention that too. Giving up a first-round pick is never fun. It's never ideal. But we are finally, after getting Teddy and after this draft, we finally drafted a receiver I think is going to actually be worth a first-round pick. We don't have one obvious, super terrible, glaring need. You know what I mean? And we have finally sort of a complete team, and we almost could have afforded it. Obviously, you didn't want to give that away, but that was a good point. If we got rid of J. Wright, what did we need? When you look around, we're pretty balanced everywhere.
Yeah, if the guy starting a position right now doesn't do well, there's a young guy behind him that's ready to take over right now.
Mm-hmm. They've done very well in the draft recently.
And also, we've double-dipped a lot in the first round for drafting 2 players in the first round, 3 players in the first round. They've moved up, they've been aggressive, they've loaded this team up. If there was ever a time to be able to say, I'm going to give up a first-round pick and bring in a player like Sam Bradford because we want to win right now, this is the team to do it on, because they do have a lot of, like you guys said, a lot of depth up and down the roster where you can go, we'll be fine for a season without a first-round pick, potentially, unless we trade up into the draft or whatever. So I understand it. I get it. I'm on board with it.
Last year, I predicted that since the Vikings had used so many picks to bring in all this talent and got several hits in the mid to late rounds, that they would use a lot of their picks to pile together, go ahead, and get some higher percentage players for success. I might have been a year early on that.
You might have.
Because I could see the Vikings just going and getting guys that they want this draft instead of waiting to see what comes to them. This Vikings team is finally showing that they're aggressive. For a while, they were sitting back because, let's be honest, when Mike Zimmer took over this team, it was rebuilding. It was supposed to be a rebuilding year. Most rebuilds in the NFL take 4 to 5 years to get ready. This Vikings team has come along so fast from these young guys that they've brought in. And it is amazing to watch them grow and develop together. And when a key piece goes down, like Teddy Bridgewater, that was going to be a cornerstone for the franchise for a long time, Rick Spielman didn't bat an eye to go and do what was needed to keep this team competitive. And yes, when it was first announced, I absolutely just said a first rounder for Bradford, really? And like you, I sat and I've thought about it, and I still don't like giving up a first-round pick, but I get it.
And also, let's look at best-case scenario. Teddy rehabs the shit out of this. He is back in no time. He's looking fantastic. And let's say the Vikings are able to turn Sam Bradford into a Pro Bowl quarterback, and we don't need him anymore. So we can put Bradford out on the trade market, and maybe we can potentially get that first rounder back out of him because, hey, Teddy's back and this is Teddy's team, and that's who we want to move with going forward. So there's lots of potential here for down the line to figure out this.
This is This whole situation is so interesting to me because losing Teddy was bad enough because I think we were all like, great, here's 16 games of Sean Hill. Like, we love Sean, don't get me wrong, but he's not the 37-year-old Tom Brady, Like, he's always been a career backup. He's never played a full season, and I don't know. This is such a weird, interesting mix of how it all unfolded. But like Adam was talking about, I don't have to like the decision, but I respect it because I know why he did it. And it's so funny how I think we all were like, you've got to be kidding me. And then a couple of days afterwards, you finally see where Rick Spielman was a week ago, and you're like, man, now I see why the Vikings have you as a GM. I get it. I totally understand why you did it. Now the only question remains is, let's see what happens in 16 games.
Here's a good comment from Grizzly Wolf 9, which thank you everyone for being in the chat this week. We love having you all with us. I actually like trading for Bradford. I was not comfortable with Sean Hill being our starter for the entire season. Sometimes first-round picks don't work out anyway, so I have no problem with the move.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that logic. I hate that so bad.
Could you say that one more time? My connection kind of got weird.
Saying that 33 to 34% of first-round draft picks are considered underachievers or busts is not a great argument to say that first-round draft picks don't have the value that they have. When you draft a first-round player, you're getting that blue-chip player, and you are believing in their stock. If you draft a player that's an absolute bust or a complete underachiever, that's on the scouting department for the team, not the value of the pick itself.
But I do follow the logic, Adam, and I get it. So like I actually kind of agree with both of you on that point. It's kind of a cop out, but
I see what he's saying. I mean, the odds are going to be there that it's a percentage of them aren't going to work out. But you're
instead of a gamble. I get that.
You're exactly right, though. If you whiff on a player 9 times out of 10, it's not because the player just sucks and at least it snuck by. It's because you guys didn't do enough homework on him.
But yeah, yes, there is the chance that a first-round player can be a miss. I understand that.
Cordell Patterson.
By that logic,
he's technically a second. I know we traded up for him, but when you really think about it,
no.
Maybe it just makes me feel better, but I view Cordero as a second round.
He was a third. Oh my God! Yeah, let's not even get into that.
Oh God. Yeah, but that kind of logic hurts my head because, when you talk about, I had one guy just yelling at me. He's like, "What would you rather get, another Trey Waynes or Laquan Treadwell that aren't even starters on the team?"
What?
Yeah.
Well, Laquan just got here, so
I'm sorry, not every receiver is Odell Beckham Jr. Calm down. Give him a year. Give him 1 year. And I'm sorry, we're a run-heavy, defense-oriented team. I didn't know he was going to come in and have 1,400 yards receiving.
But then you got to flip that around, Would you rather have an Anthony Barr or a Harrison Smith or a Sharif Floyd or, some of these other guys that were hits? Yes, the draft is a gamble. It always has been. But you put faith in your scouts, your GMs, and your team to grow and develop these players.
You know what? I can dumb this down for everybody. There's 7 rounds. There's not only 1 round. It's going to be okay. We're gonna get awesome players, and like I said earlier, depending on how they want to be shifty, we have multiple picks in the mid rounds. Don't freak out.
I love mid-round picks. Mid-round picks are my favorite. That's where you find guys
Russell
like
Wilson was a 3rd-round pick, for God's sake. You can find talent.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs, mid-round pick. I love Stephon Diggs. I love what he brings to the team. So, yeah.
Man, we all got heated for a second there.
It happens. It's a heated show.
Well, they did this. They did the topic about how Sam Bradford coming to the Vikings was okay on the Herd today, and Colin Cowherd was just talking about how he'd trade away every first-round draft pick he had if he was a GM because he feels they're overvalued, and he'd just load up on 2nd and 3rd rounders.
You wouldn't be a GM very long, Colin.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
So that's a little bit why I'm a little riled up here. I love the first rounders that the Vikings have. I can't imagine the Vikings without several, if not almost all, of the first round selections they've had. Just blows my mind sometimes.
I was talking with my friend Mike about this at work earlier today too, and it's been such a. You said what a week ago that Teddy got hurt.
Yeah.
This whole week has been. Jesus, just up and down and sideways and all over the place because you love Teddy so much, and for him to get hurt, it's just deflating as a fan. And that preseason game, I didn't care at all what happened in it.
No, it took the air completely out of that game.
It took it out of it. Roster cuts, I'm like, whatever.
And there were some amazing plays in that game. Toby Johnson's diving interception. You got the Jarrell Presley kick return.
That was
awesome
amazing.
Little pass off to Jarrell Presley in the flat. There were some great plays in that game, but that mindset just wasn't there.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was meeting my musical hero, and I was kind of glad because I like watching the guys who are fighting for a spot, but I was just glad to have some positivity going on that day because I was like, I'm gonna be so depressed watching this game, knowing Teddy's somewhere out there, probably in a wheelchair or on crutches. It's just gonna depress me.
That hurts to think about. You know that? And what else sucks is that you have to have these discussions, and they're kind of legitimate, of if Sam Bradford looks like a Pro Bowler, what does the team do? Like, it's easy to say now this is Teddy's team, but if Bradford really looks good and he really is able to take over, What do you do with Teddy? And that's a legitimate discussion that I don't want. We can push that off until
I don't want to ever have
happens,
that discussion.
happens.
No, I'm gonna have it right now. This is Teddy's freaking team. I don't care what you say. There's a 10-year window with him. Bradford's been in the league after this, I think, 7 years. No, you go with Teddy.
Bradford's only 28.
You can see in the tape, and I know everybody's gonna say, "Oh, it's a small sample size." Watch the 2 games that he played in the preseason. The development and the progression is about to happen. I was about to pull an Aaron Rodgers. Relax. Just relax. Just chill out, guys. It's gonna be fine. This couldn't have happened. I would pick literally anyone else on the team for this to have had happen to, but it is what it is. I mean,
I believe we talked earlier this year about who would be the biggest loss if they got lost for the season. I think we actually talked about this maybe 2 months ago, and I think all 3 of us picked Teddy.
Yeah, it is. I blame us completely. We're never talking about any quarterback injuries again.
Okay, but let's talk for a second. Let's throw the draft picks aside. Let's talk about just Sam Bradford being in Minnesota. When you heard that the Vikings were bringing him in, what was your first thought?
He's better than Sean Hill.
You know what my first thought was? You know what, you guys are gonna hate me. He's gonna be hurt by week 5.
See, that's the mindset that a lot of fans had.
I hate to say that, but like he's gonna be hurt. Week 5, we'll be back to Sean Hill. We'll be out of first-round pick, and we'll just be screwed anyway. I'm really hoping that's not the case, but.
See, my first thing was I started reading the Vikings have traded for Sam Bradford. I was like, okay, I can get behind this. And I still feel that way. I can get behind this decision. And I do feel that this might be one of the best offensive lines he's had in the NFL. I do believe that having Adrian Peterson in the backfield, their college connection, be a little stronger there. And with that play action fake, the arm strength, but he's got to get on page with those wide receivers, and he's got to learn the playbook. And that's why we went for our social media question and asked you guys whether or not he should start week 1 against the Titans.
Absolutely not.
And we got
Josh Freeman.
Really fun answers there. Eric Spink said he doesn't want another Josh Freeman situation. He said, I think the Giants game at home, he needs a little time to take in the playbook and get some real practice time with the number 1s. Hopefully Hill will give him that time needed. And like I said earlier, Hill is that guy he can step in and he can play when needed, but you just don't want him as a long-term answer. You don't want that. Now, some people are saying that Zimmer has already said that Hill is starting week 1, and that is not true. They have released the early depth chart. Hill is first on the depth chart, but that, as I said, that depth chart is written in some of the finest pencil that there is.
Finest
and
pencil.
What happened was the Star Tribune wrote an article about when Bradford should start compared to Hill. Yahoo grabbed that article. They grabbed a quote out of there, a little bit out of context, pasted it up there, and now everyone thinks that Hill has been named the starter, yet the Vikings have not officially named a starter, and they're not going to.
Can I jump in for 2 seconds? Reference back to the San Diego preseason game. He was asked, hey, who's going to start? And he's like, why would I give them that advantage?
Yeah. Does the media know? Do they pay any attention to what Mike
And I can tie Philadelphia in this because we traded for Sam Bradford from that team. They've already named Carson Wentz their starter.
Yep.
Why the hell would you do that? Leave the team. I would lie my butt off. I would be like, nope, Chase Daniel's starting, and then game time decision, Carson Wentz goes in.
That's what you say. Chase Daniel's our starting quarterback, but we're going to monitor the progress of our first-round pick and see how he comes along. And if he's ready, we will start him. That leaves your defense, the opposing defense, completely curious on.
And think about it for us. Think about it for us. All these teams, up until Tuesday, were game planning for Teddy. Then they have to game plan for Sean Hill. Now they're wondering if Sam Bradford's coming around. And this is Tennessee. I have nothing against Tennessee. There's a reason you were in the top 5 last year. I have faith that we'll beat them Sunday. But this is amazing. Leave them guessing. Leave them on their toes. Don't tell them who's getting. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to put my opinion out there. I hope he doesn't start Sunday.
I understand if he doesn't. I completely understand. And I would love to see Sam Bradford take the field. I would, because I want to see what he has to offer the Vikings. And I'm going to throw a little bit of a cap hat tip out there to everybody and say, hey, I'm going to be at that home opener, Green Bay, Minnesota. So having that be the first glance of Sam Bradford in a Vikings jersey would be kind of fun as well.
That would be awesome. Another fun fact and a positive, Sam Bradford is no stranger to learning new offenses. In 5 years, he had 4 different offensive coordinators. He can learn this. It's all a relative base of the same. There's only so many plays that you can run. It's just about learning the language. I watched Mike and Mike this morning, and Mike Golick, just because I don't know if you guys know him, but for you guys listening, if you don't know Greeny and Golick, Greeny's the writer, Golick's the football player, and he said it's like speaking a language. And you break it down. When I had a guy come from Buffalo, I spoke Philadelphia. He spoke Buffalo. I learned Buffalo and translated it for him. All he's got to do is learn the language of the offense. It's not going to be difficult for him. He's done it before. It's just a matter of when. When will he be comfortable? And that's the key word. It's comfortable.
Isn't it funny how Alex Smith gets a pass because of his time learning so many different offenses, and yet you never hear anyone reference that for Sam Bradford, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you get injured. People find ways to hate you.
Oh, hey, Adam, I got something for you here in the chat.
Like Tony Romo?
Yes.
Eric Spink said he's going to be at that Vikings game and that you should come over to the VWO tailgate and join them.
I was there last time I was there for a game, and I had a good time with you guys. Got some pictures taken, and I had a really great time. So, yeah, I'm definitely open to that.
Yeah, find Eric, get a photo with him. We'll put it up on the podcast page. I want to give a shout-out to Grizzly Wolf 9 really quick for subscribing to the channel. You love our shows every week. We thank you for having us with us.
Oh, my God, plot twist, guys. What if Sam Bradford has his best career game of his entire career against the Philadelphia Eagles later on in the season?
Well, I prefer if he did it against the Green Bay Packers.
I would, too. For the division, Week 17.
Oh.
And there's no way, by the way, that Sean Hill was going to stay healthy all season with his age.
There's no way of knowing with that, though. I mean, I understand that's complete speculation, but if I were a betting man, my money would be on him not lasting the entire 16 games. But
you know, the first thing, I'll go back and retract my statement. When I found out that Teddy went down, the first thing that I said before we got Sam Bradford, I was like, well, Adrian Peterson's going to lead the league in rushing again. And he still may very well do that. I thought it was funny. I was like, man, AP wanted the ball more. You're about to get what you asked for, sir.
Hey, I don't mind that. I got him number 4 overall in my fantasy draft.
That's not a bad spot for AP.
I know, but I passed up on Julio Jones to get him. That's going to bite me in the butt.
I got Todd Gurley this year. I'm pretty excited.
There you go.
Zach Line. I got Zach Line on mine.
Unless you read that article today about Todd Gurley, you might not be so happy.
I'm going to wait. I know what article you're talking about. I haven't read it yet. So, can I make a bold statement? I'm not trying to end the show or anything, but after all, like I said, the dust has settled, the smoke's cleared. I have a bold statement, and God, I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. Bold statement of the week. With Sam Bradford essentially being brought in, he's not going to be traded for a first round to be a backup. He's going to start. The question is when, not if. The Vikings are going to go back to the playoffs. I don't expect him to light the league up. I actually expect him to have a middle-of-the-pack year, maybe 15, 16 overall as far as completion percentage, touchdown, yards, all that good stuff, QBR. Everything kind of in the middle, and that is A-okay with me. I don't think we're going to win the division. I think with Teddy at the helm, we had a better chance because he knew the offense. However, with the things that Teddy's good at and Sam is not, like mobility, the things we wanted from Teddy, a strong arm and a deep ball, we have with Sam. So you give and you take. I believe I'll adjust my record from 11-5. I'll give us 9-7 or 10-6. There'll be a heartbreaking loss that will come close to, kind of like last year's Arizona and Denver games. But with Sam Bradford coming in, with this defense, with AP, with the attitude and everyone being behind it, I still think we make the playoffs as a wild card. Old statement of the day.
I agree.
I like it.
I agree.
It will take some work, though. Sam Bradford will need to work with this team, and
I think it's just what he needed. He didn't want to be in Philly anyways. I think this is just what he needed.
Well, when you come out and you set franchise records for completion percentage, that kind of stuff, and then the team still trades their future for a quarterback, who a lot of people really weren't very high on going into this draft, and has huge injury concerns behind an offensive line that has very few good pieces. I don't see where Philadelphia has their head right now. They are jeopardizing their future by trading for this guy, using all these picks, throwing him into the fire, and giving him no help up front.
He won't last the entire season, and I don't mean that because he's not capable. He already got injured in the preseason. That line is not good.
No.
That line is not good at all. And you're going to throw him to the Wolves? I would ride the Chase Daniel Express all the way through until he's on his 4th interception before the second half comes around, and you're like, man, I got to start Carson Wentz now. This sucks.
Now,
but
I don't know if you guys listen to EDP. Do you guys listen to EDP on YouTube?
No.
He is the biggest Philadelphia fan around.
Oh, are you talking about the guy who flips out, the Eagles fan who just he always records himself when they do something in the media or something like that? Yeah. I know who you're talking about now.
I don't want to say what the P stands for here in our chat, you know. But EDP, wow. He went off about this trade. He loved getting the first rounder, but he's like, you see what we're left with here?
he was. I actually watched that when it first came out.
We're gonna go on 16.
Yeah, he was pissed. He was absolutely pissed. And it's funny, too, he'll go back. Like, he'll have 30 seconds of anger, and he'll be like, man, I'm happy with that first round, but damn it, man. Just
the video opened with him staring at the screen for 15 seconds, just mad.
You had someone going, it's a family show, don't use his entire name. That's
right.
Amazing. Oh.
But there's so many fun YouTube channels like that to find. I think I've got like a couple from each team that I just enjoy watching because they're such passionate and vocal fans. And watching people love the sport that much is so much fun. And I think that's part of the reason why we get the viewers we do, is that people can get the passion for the sport and the game and the team and the players. That's what we've got here. We might not go as balls crazy as, EDP does. And just throw stuff around.
We could. I think we would lose a couple followers, but that's... Yeah. I liked it, though. He's very, very opinionated, very, very passionate about his Eagles.
Absolutely. I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about this week. If you guys have anything else that you wanted to wrap up.
We apologize for you guys again for the LA game. We did go 4-0 in the preseason. I mean, that's cool and all, but we had one of the biggest shakeups, injuries, and then trades, within 5 days of each other. So we had to hit that. So we apologize for you guys that wanted to hear more of a breakdown of the guys coming around. I mean, we tried to hit on it with the 53 and the cuts and the practice squad. So, hey, sorry about that. We kind of had bigger fish to fry, but you guys get excited. Sunday, 1 o'clock, week 1 at Tennessee. I think we're going to go in there and kick the crap out of them, to be honest with you. But that's just me.
Yeah, that Tennessee defense, we should be doing, like I said, we have so many things we should be doing. We should be doing a game review against the Rams. We should be doing a game preview against the Titans. We should be doing our prediction episode like we usually do right now. But there is absolutely no way that we can. Not with this stuff going on.
Yeah, this was major. We don't usually capture the headlines like that, especially all around the NFL, but this was major news, so...
And it hit us hard. We love Teddy. We do.
He'll be fine. I like his statement. If you guys haven't looked up his statement,
that's a handwritten. We didn't mention this. That was a handwritten statement. Usually, a player will have a publicist. Adrian Peterson.
That's amazing.
We'll have a publicist or an agent that writes it up.
Yeah, Teddy wrote that by hand and gave that to the team, and was like, "Here, this is for my fans."
And it was well thought out and passionate.
Mm-hmm.
I teared up when I read that a little bit. I'm like, that's
well, he made it so personal.
He really did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to throw one more thing out there. Usually when an injury happens, I wish someone a speedy and full recovery. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to Teddy, I'm going to take the speedy off.
Yes, 110%.
Take your absolute time. Get back to be as good as you can. Don't rush back, if at all. If you're 97%, stay on the sideline. Heal up. Be ready to come back when you're ready.
The perfect thing about this being and going into next year is this isn't a new offense he's going to have to worry about learning. This isn't something that he's going to have to scramble just to get ready so they can throw him out there and see if he's comfortable. All he's going to have to do, it's just like riding a bike. He's going to have to get on, take a couple of laps. He could be, I think once he's fully 100% ready, I think he'd need 2 weeks, get ready, mentally prep, get your reps in with the first team, get in sync again. He could be ready to go. The timeline is the question mark.
That's the big beauty, having 2 years on that Bradford deal.
Mm-hmm. It is. I don't like the paycheck next year, but hey, you know what?
If it's necessary, it's necessary.
This actually is not a bad deal. Once you take a breath and you let the brunt of the first round kick you in the face, it's not that bad. Once you think about what it could be and what it's gonna do for the future.
When Sam Bradford finally takes the football field, all the talk about this first-round draft pick is going to be gone. The conditional fourth-rounder is going to be gone.
Until he throws the first interception.
And it's going to be football like usual again. And yes, it won't be Teddy Bridgewater. And there will still be plenty of fans wearing Teddy Bridgewater jerseys in the crowd, cheering on. They will be there. But for now, this is Sam Bradford's team. It may not be this week. It may not be against Green Bay, but it will happen eventually, and it's going to be fun to watch.
I'm excited. I really am.
On that note, I want to remind everyone that this is your last day. The NFL season starts Thursday. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the Panthers whoop up on the Broncos Thursday night. I can't wait.
Are you going to that one?
No, it's in Denver. It's I just can't. It's my weekend is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the kickoff, it doesn't matter. It would matter if there were two terrible teams now, but I love watching Cam Newton because he's a freak. So I absolutely can't wait to watch it. We're starting football, guys.
Which Panthers game are you going to?
The one with the Vikings, Week 3 in Carolina.
Nice. You better take over all our social media.
I've already got this, man. I've been promoting this game for like 2 months now.
It's something for everyone to look forward to.
I'll be in the Fran Tarkenton hoodie, you guys. You just find me out there. I'll be the only guy in purple.
But yeah, head on over to Yahoo Sports. Sign up for our Fantasy Survival League. You got to get in on there before it kicks off because we have some cool prizes. And if we can get some more people signing up, I'm going to add some even cooler prizes. I've got some awesome stuff in mind, and I would love to just give somebody some awesome prizes that I know that I own, that I love and use all the time. And I want someone else to get them, especially someone that knows a lot about football. So go over there. All the details are on the Facebook page. You can go to Kyle West Photography, check out his art over there. He's got lots of great stuff that he's made as far as computer art, photography, this Viking photo, stuff. Lots of cool stuff. And then you've got Kyle Smith over there on his YouTube channel.
What's up, guys? I'm going to be doing some more covers here soon. Getting back in the swing of work. Haven't had as much time to record some music, but it's coming.
I heard you got a new one on the way here soon.
I do. I grew up listening to the early 2000s and late 90s stuff, so a little bit of the late grunge kind of era right here below where my finger is. Go check that out. It's my Facebook music page. Shoot me a message. Check out all the videos I got on there.
Yep, Facebook.com/SK8KAW. KOW.
SK-Cow.
SK8KOW. There we go. And you can always check me out over on the Viking Age. I'll be writing some stuff, putting the podcast up on there. I've been trying to get a little bit more, maybe not controversial, but a little more vocal about my opinions rather than being a little dry and news reporty. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that and enjoy my opinions a little bit more. One place I don't hold back my opinions is over on Undead Walking. If you love zombies, and there's no better time than now to be a fan of The Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead is awesome right now. Season 7 is right around the corner. You got the comic book series, they're going to war. You've got the video game, Telltale Season 3 coming out pretty soon. Oh, it's a great time to be a fan, and if you're not a fan, why not? Come on. Please? But that's all I have for this week. You guys got anything else you want to throw in?
Yeah, I have one quick thing that I thought of while we were recording. You guys remember in Return of the Jedi when Skywalker had like the pouch that he would carry Yoda around in, like on his back? I think that if we sign Tim Tebow and get him a pouch and put Teddy in the back of the pouch,
Dear
like
sweet
we could
God.
we could have Tebow's legs and like Teddy's brain and like throwing arm, and we could like Frankenstein us a quarterback. Would that work? Is that like a viable thing that we could do?
We'll get back to you on that. Yeah, we'll get back to you.
Nope. But who knows? Maybe in a year or two, Johnny Manziel will be able to be drafted again.
Yeah.
He's re-enrolled at Texas A&M, so who knows?
Hey, congrats to him for doing that, and get your life together. I'm happy for you. My ending note, I think all you guys will agree. Teddy, get better. I wish that he would put out like a email address or a mailing address so people could send him stuff. Tell him, hey man, we're rooting for you in this town, in this city. We just hope he gets better. Take your time, like Adam said. Don't rush the recovery. Get to 100%. Don't worry about the timetable, but I think the team is going to rally behind you. And you know what I want to hear Mike Zimmer say? I really want him to come out right before the game and say, let's do this season for number 5. I guarantee you it would light a
I'm
fire.
sure he already has.
Everybody. So.
And keep in mind, I think Teddy does read everything that comes across his Twitter. I firmly believe that.
Especially now, what else has he got to do?
So
I don't mean that as a negative, but I'm
send
sure
him
he
over
does.
some well wishes. Look up the Vikings address on Vikings.com. Send him a nice little letter. Maybe even ask for an autograph on a photo. Who knows? Now would be
Sing to it.
Yeah. Send him a singing telegram. He probably won't click on it or listen to it, but hey, he's sent us stuff with him singing, and let's be honest, that wasn't fantastic either. Sorry, Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we're running late again, so I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in and listening to us. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. We are on so many channels now: iTunes, Stitcher, Podomatic, SoundCloud. I don't even remember what all else. We're in a lot of places. We're on the Viking Age. I know that.
We're on the interwebs.
Yeah, we're all over the place. Just type in Purple People Podcast. You'll see lots of us.
And if you want a written transcript of the podcast, learn to write really fast.
Really fast. On that note, thanks for listening, and stay classy, Minnesota.